Hello everyone. This is the 35th part of the story, I'm Voldemort. Chapter 218 SSSS. You are his descendant? She hisses in shock and a bit of awe. You mean Salazar? Yup, how do you think we got in here in the first place? Tom asked as he motioned towards the tunnel leading to the vault door. Huh? I thought you broke in or something. The snake says as she eyes Tom for a moment. How are you controlling me? Even Lord Slytherin couldn't do that. That's a long story that I don't wish to tell you, but I will say I'm very close with a certain snake goddess. Tom gives her a small bit of info, causing the snake's eyes to widen. Now, what's your name? Snake goddess. She mutters in wonder. I'm Catalina. Do you really know the snake goddess? Nice to meet you, Catalina. I'm Tom Riddle and the woman you attacked earlier is Drusilla Rosier, my fiancée, Tom says as he gestures to Drusilla, who still has no idea what they're saying. Oh, and yes, I do know her. Now, if I set you free, will you behave yourself? Catalina thought about it for a moment before nodding her giant snake head. Yes, I won't attack you or your mate, I swear. Good, you may move now, Tom says with a wave of a hand, and Catalina regains control over her body once again. Oh, about your mother. As Tom says this, the now happy-to-be freed snake's mood becomes somber and serious. What about her? She asks as she glares in Tom's direction. I really did kill her, but she was already insane from hunger and isolation. If you ask me, I did her a courtesy by ending her life. Trust me, she was not right in the head. I apologize for using her death against you. I was angry because you attacked my mate, he says apologetically. Hearing Tom's words, Catalina didn't find any hints of deceit in them, but she still found it all hard to swallow. I need some time alone. Call me if you need me, Catalina says and immediately retreats back into the hole in the ceiling she came out of originally. Where is she going? Drusilla asked as Catalina disappeared. After letting Catalina get away and think about everything, Tom explained everything he and the snake talked about. Oh, should we move on to the next vault and give her time to think? Drusilla asks sympathetically. She may have been mad at Catalina in the beginning, but after hearing about her mother's death, she feels kind of bad for the poor lonely snake. I'm going to meditate really quick. Tom says as he grabs his snake totem necklace. I'll go and see Manasa about what we talked about. I've been meaning to speak with her anyway, but I keep putting it off. Okay, I'll wait beside you. Drusilla says, staying close to him. All right, if Catalina returns and causes trouble or I take longer than half an hour, tap my should so I know to return. Tom instructs her as he sits cross-legged and starts meditating. As he closed his eyes, the eyes of the snake totem necklace around Tom's neck light up, pulling Tom's consciousness to Manasa's realm. Appearing on the same beautiful beach, Tom looks around for the snake goddess that he hasn't seen for a long time. You finally come to visit me. Manasa says while in her Lamia form. Sorry, but that accusation goes both ways. You could have called me here in my sleep as well. Tom turns to see her and throws half the blame on her as well. I've been very busy lately. She says as she turns her head away. Yeah, that's what everyone says. Tom says as he sits on the beach and admired the view. Yeah, what's your excuse? Manasa asks with a raised eyebrow. I was busy. Tom says without any shame whatsoever. I thought that's what everyone says. She says tauntingly. Well, sometimes it's the truth and other times it's just an excuse. Tom says with a teasing smile. Are you saying I'm just making excuses? Manasa says with a pout on her lips. I would never. He says sarcastically. Manasa stares at him without uttering another word. She had many times where she wanted to bring him over while he slept, but Manasseh didn't have an excuse and found it awkward to just call him. Also, the time passed since their last meeting wasn't long at all. For a more than million-year-old goddess, a few years is truly no time at all. She just wanted to use the "where have you been" act to mess with her avatar. On to other subjects. You came here for a reason. What do you need? Manasseh asks. Yeah, I got a basilisk for my fiancée, mainly for protection and companionship, but she doesn't speak Parseltongue and is vulnerable to its stare. Tom explains. You want me to give her snake tongue and immunity to the eyes of a basilisk? Manasseh summed up Tom's request. Yes, that would be why I came here. Other than to visit you as well. Tom says. All right, when you return to the mortal plane, have your maid hold the totem. I'll handle the rest. Manasseh says with a wave of her hand as if it was no big deal. Thanks, I have to go and get something done. Bring me here later tonight while I'm asleep and we'll catch up. See you later. Tom waves his hand and disappears. Opening his eyes in the vault again, Tom sees Druella sitting across from him, waiting patiently. Did she agree? She asked as she saw Tom's eyes open. Yeah, hold this for a moment. Chapter 219 Manasseh. Yeah, hold this for a moment. Tom says and holds out his snake totem necklace for her. With an excited smile on her face, Druella grasped the snake pendant. She was excited to have something in common with her fiancé. They could speak in Parseltongue together and no one but a snake would know anything they said. Who knew a language made up of hissing at one another could be so romantic? With the totem tightly held in her hand, its eyes lit up as always, drawing Druella to fall into a meditative slumber. Thankfully, she was still seated on the floor, so she didn't fall, nor did she tip over as Tom held her in place. On the same beach that Tom just visited, Druella appeared below a giant snake. Seeing the behemoth snake looming over her, Druella became nervous and uncertain. Didn't Tom say she appeared as a lamia for him? Is she trying to intimidate me? Druella thought as she mustered the courage to speak. Hello, are you Manasseh? Hearing the small human's voice, the giant snake cranes its neck downward, eyeing Druella up and down. Yes, you must be Druella, my avatar's mate, right? A booming and not-so-feminine voice says intimidatingly. Correct, is there a reason you're being so scary? Druella asks, knowing from Tom's description that she isn't like this with him. I'm assessing whether you have what it takes to carry my blessing. Manasseh says, still looming over Druella as if she were prey. Well, do I pass? Druella asks with a raised eyebrow. Although the monster snake before her scares Druella half to death, she knows that Manasseh won't hurt her, or at least she thinks she won't. She's the mate of her avatar after all. Why anger someone so close to you for no reason? Good enough, I guess. Manasseh says uncaringly as she shrinks down into the beautiful lamia that Tom described. Wow, Tom said you were good-looking, but I didn't expect you to be so beautiful. Druella says without thought. Oh, he says I'm good-looking, does he? Maybe I should seduce him and snatch him away from you? Manasseh says teasingly with a finger on her chin. Not expecting to hear that, Druella narrows her eyes at the first god, other than Lady Death, she has ever met. You could try. Druella says challengingly. Don't worry, I will, but I don't think it's me you have to worry about. Manasseh says in glee. She loves messing with people and this is a great moment to stir the pot a bit. Huh? Druella grunts questioningly with a raised eyebrow and crossed arms. Well, I've just been watching Tom today through our bond and that woman was being very handsy with him. Manasseh says with a fake look of disapproval. What woman? I've been with him all day. Druella asks, not believing a word out of this snake's mouth. I might have said too much. Manasseh says, covering her mouth dramatically. It was nice meeting you, Druella. When you wake up, you'll have what Tom asked for. Bye-bye. Waving her hand goodbye, Manasa smirks and sends Druella out. Wait, what are you? Druella says as she disappears mid-sentence. Opening her eyes, Druella saw Tom in front of her, holding her in place. The first thing on her mind upon returning is what Manasa said to her before giving her the boot. She didn't fully believe it, as she knew Tom would never cheat on her, and even if a woman was handsy with him, that doesn't mean he did anything wrong. Suddenly, the image of that blush from earlier came to mind. Why was he blushing like that? Does it have to do with what Manasa was talking about? She thought. Did it work? Tom asks as her eyes open. I don't know. How do you speak Parseltongue? I've never done it before, Druella answers with a shrug. You're speaking Parseltongue right now, Tom reveals with a smirk. Congratulations, Drew. Hearing Tom's revelation, Druella's eyes widen as she starts testing out her speech, switching between English and Snake with a gleeful smile. All right, since we don't need to pack up this entire vault, like the last, let's go and see Lu Fei has in store for us. Tom says and holds out his arm for Druella to hold. Shall we? We shall, Druella hissed back with a smile on her face. Outside the vault, the group of goblins waited for far less time compared to the Pendragon vault. Almost half an hour, which for a goblin's time will earn every one of them a pretty penny. Depending on how much their time is worth, of course. Soon, the vault door opened and out came the happy couple, who seemed to be hissing at one another. Seeing this, many of the goblins were confused, as Parseltongue isn't a gift that runs in the Rosier family. Lord Riddle, how did your fiancé learn Parseltongue? One of the goblins asks what the rest were thinking. Oh, I've been teaching her here and there during our years in Hogwarts. Tom lies with ease. Enough of that, though. You goblins are all about your time, so let's head off to the last vault. Not sure if they fully believe him, many of the goblins found Tom's answer possible but not probable. After all, could Parseltongue be taught and learned in the first place? They didn't know for sure, but it didn't seem possible. Deciding to let it go once again, Aluk steps forward to escort everyone to the final vault. Follow me. Chapter 220, Lu Fei Vault. Without wasting any time, Tom and Druella were escorted to the Lu Fei vault and opened it immediately. It was the same as the last two vaults, blood and magic on the sigil, and the door opens. The sigil this time was a thin snake wrapped around a feminine-looking crown. The whole thing was a deep black picture on the silver vault door. As the door opened, a small sort of airlock was on the other side with a royal-looking double door, which most likely leads to the actual vault. Is every vault like this? Have something block the view as the entrance, so the goblins or any other tagalongs don't see what's inside. I guess it's pretty smart. Tom thought as he and Druella walked arm in arm through the door. The goblins didn't even bother asking Tom to come inside again. Aluk was already turned down twice, and the others could see that he wouldn't agree as well. As the big vault door closed behind them, torches on each side of the double doors lit up, brightening the darkroom. Not wasting time, Druella goes to open the double door, but finds that it won't budge a single inch, nor will the handle turn. The door's locked. She informs Tom. Checking just to be sure, Tom gives the doorknob a quick jiggle and comes to the same conclusion. How are we supposed to enter? Tom thought out loud as he walked around the room, searching for any clues. Should we just break in? Druella asks as she checks for anything that could help as well. Thinking over her suggestion, Tom tries using his enhanced senses to feel past the double doors and shakes his head negatively. Something is blocking me from sensing past the door. I don't know if Morgana put her vault in another dimension like the Pendragon vault, so I don't want to break anything just yet. Tom says, worried about losing the vault forever in some random dimension. Seeing no clues anywhere that could assist him in opening the door, Tom decides to pay Morgana a third visit for the day. I'm going to meditate for a second. Tap me if I'm not back in 10 minutes. Tom tells Druella and sits down in a meditative position with his eyes closed. Yeah, sure. Druella replies with a small amount of suspicion in her eyes. Why is he meditating at a time like this? That woman was being very handsy with him. Manas's voice played out on Druella's mind. Is he getting information from somewhere? Druella mutters as she spots Tom's AlienWarlord's ring glowing a deep purple for a split second. Is there something in the ring giving him information? No. Definitely someone. Coming to this realization, only one name came to her mind. Morgana, but I thought she was killed by the Ancient One. Druella thought questioningly. Knowing that Tom's consciousness is most likely in the AlienWarlord ring right now, Druella thought about touching it and injecting herself as well, but after a moment's thought, she decided to wait and see. He said he would explain the blushing earlier, so I'll give him some time to tell me what's happening. Druella thought as she sat down and watched Tom closely. As Druella was coming to her realization, Tom appeared in the same bedroom as before. Sitting across from him was the same scantily clad lingerie-wearing dark beauty, Morgana Le. Oh, you're back. This is the third time in one day. Does that mean you have an interest in me? Maybe you do want to be my husband? Morgana says with a teasing smile. Behind her teasing and provocative facade, Morgana had a good guess as to why he is here again. Her vault. She knows that Tom has been to the Pendragon vault and now he's probably stuck at the door to hers. For Morgana, this isn't good. If she plans to gain a body again with Tom's help, she can't have him taking all of her precious treasures and artifacts. Especially her spellbook. This is why she had him swear an oath not to kick her out earlier. Even if she refuses to allow him entrance into her vault, Tom won't be able to send her soul back to that horrible place, nor can he even threaten to do it. No, I'm here to ask how I get past the double doors and into your vault, or should I say my vault to be precise? Tom asks as he leans back into the seat and crosses one leg over the other. One of my descendants is trying to steal from the dead? What a cruel child you are, Thomas. Morgana sniffles and wipes a fake tear from her eye. Stop with the games and tell me already, please. Tom sighs in exasperation from having to deal with this person so much today. Suddenly, the fake crying act vanished and Morgana disappeared and appeared, mounting herself on Tom's lap. You know I won't do that. I can't have my precious things being taken, especially when my handsome little man is going to be finding me a body soon. If you rob me of everything I've collected over the years, what will I have when I return to the living, Morgana says as she grabs his chin with one hand and pats his cheek with the other. Hearing her reasoning, Tom didn't care one bit and smiled evilly up at her. And what if I refuse to ever give you a body? Chapter 221. And what if I refuse to ever give you a body? Tom asks with an evil smirk gracing his lips. Then I'll simply live here in luxury until you die, pass down the ring, or until the end of time. It depends on what happens in the future. Morgana says with a shrug as she dismounts Tom and dives into the big comfortable bed, snuggling into her blanket. This place is much more comfortable than that hell I was trapped in before. Hearing her answer, Tom's evil smirk turned into an annoyed scowl. He wanted to threaten her with eviction, but the oath against that was already sworn. She must have strategically asked for that oath. Tom thought as he tries to come up with a way to get her assistance. Oh, don't look at me like that. Morgana says as she notices Tom's scowl. You already have access to the Pendragon vault. There's no need to be so greedy. Don't you think that you already have enough? Blocking out Morgana's persuasive argument, Tom starts hatching evil idea after evil idea in his mind. Seeing the look in Tom's eyes, Morgana could practically feel the scheming energy wafting off of her descendant. Hey, whatever you're thinking up, stop it right now. Nothing you do or say will make me give you access to all of my possessions. Morgana says seriously, for one of the few times Tom has ever seen her like that. What if I turn this ring into a hell similar to the one you just left? Tom asks with an evil glint in his eyes. Hearing what he said, a slightly worried expression appears on Morgana's face as she does her best to convince him otherwise. This ring was created by me, so I doubt you would have the same control that I do. She says with a wave of her hand, turning the bedroom into a lush forest and then back to normal again. Let's try. Tom waves his hand as well, but doesn't get the same outcome. Instead of turning the whole area into a forest, only the wallpaper changed into a picture of a green forest. Huh? You were right, but that doesn't mean I can't practice and turn this place into hell within a month's time. Tom says with a shrug. Don't make me waste my time and just be compliant, please. Morgana silently thought about it for a moment and came to decision. I'll agree to tell you how to get in my vault on a few conditions. All right, what do you want? Tom gets straight to the point. I want a few things. First, you must make an oath to get me into a body within the next few years. She says with a single finger raised. Deal, next. Tom agrees easily. Good. Secondly, you must agree to return a few things to me from my vault and all of my gold must not be touched. You already have enough from the Pendragon vault, I'm sure? She says with a second finger raised. The gold is no problem. I already have more than I'll ever need after all. What things do you need to be returned? Tom asks. A few of my more important artifacts and my spellbook. She reveals. Thinking it over, Tom came to the conclusion that a few artifacts and a spellbook isn't really a big deal, especially since he plans to enslave her the same way he did Arthur. Everything Tom would give back will just be returned to him anyway, or used by Morgana in her loyal service to him and his loved ones. Deal, but if anything is too dangerous, like a world-ending danger, or something that would affect those close to me, I refuse to give it to you under any circumstances. Tom throws in his own stipulation to keep her from getting suspicious of him. Anything else? That's fine. Lastly, you have to agree not to make my time in this ring uncomfortable in any way. I've had to deal with enough pain and despair in that place, and I don't want to have that here. She says resolutely. Deal, do you want an oath? Tom asks. What do you think? Morgana raised an eyebrow. After making an oath and getting the information he needed, Tom felt someone patting his shoulder and returned to the material world. Bye, handsome. Come visit me again soon. Morgana waves at him seductively as he leaves. The second Tom disappears, an angry scowl appears on her beautiful face. How dare that kid threaten me? She thought as she calmed her smoldering anger. At least I got a good oath out of him. Opening his eyes, Tom greets Druella with a smile and moves towards the double doors. Did you figure it out? Druella asks curiously. Yup, watch this. Tom says as he starts knocking on the door in different spots and at different intervals. Each knock contained a certain amount of magic in order to open the door like a sort of invisible key padlock. Upon Tom's final tap of the door, a clicking sound could be heard from the silver doorknob. Did it work? Druella asked as Tom tests the knob, turning it with ease this time around. Chapter 222 Spellbook. Did it work? Druella asked as Tom tests and turns the doorknob with ease this time around. See for yourself. Tom says as he pushes the door open. On the other side of the door is the same thing Tom and Druella have been used to seeing, piles of gold as high as the ceiling, shelves full of books, along with a plethora of artifacts and weapons, strewn about the vault in different places. Wow, this looks like more gold coins than the Pendragon vault. Druella mutters as she eyes the mountains of gold. I guess crime does pay. She must have robbed a lot of people in order to accumulate so much gold. Either that or Morgana was a hell of a businesswoman, but my gold is on crime. Tom gives his input. True, should we split up and look for anything of interest? Druella turns to Tom with a raised eyebrow, ready to start treasure hunting once again. Yeah, we should go and look around, but don't touch anything. Morgana was a renowned dark witch. Everything in here could be cursed with any number of horrible things, so keep your hands off whatever you find. If you have to move something, levitate it out of the way, and if you find anything of interest, once again, levitate the items into a pile for me to look over, got it? Tom gave Druella a quick disclaimer. All right, I got it. I'll start on the left and you start on the right? Druella said questioningly. Sounds good to me. Tom says as he heads right. Searching the final vault, Tom and Druella found a few good-looking weapons, artifacts, and a ton of books on dark magic that will definitely be utilized. Other than the normal findings they've been seeing in every vault, like artifacts, weapons, and whatnot, Tom found something truly interesting in the very backside of the vault. On an obsidian-looking podium, rested a black leather-bound book with no picture or name printed on the front or back. Walking up to the podium for a closer look, Tom thought. Is this the spell book she wants to be returned so badly? As if going off like a motion sensor, the book wiggles as Tom grew closer. Seeing the book acting funny, Tom put up his guard and continued walking until he was standing directly in front of the podium, eyeing the writhing black book with a bit of wariness and curiosity. Suddenly, the book snapped open and silver chains phased through the pages, launching in Tom's direction. Already on guard, Tom wandlessly and wordlessly casts a very high-level shield to protect him. Tom's been practicing wordless spells here and there during what little downtime he had at Hogwarts. He's gotten it down for the most part, but Tom can't do multiple spells in a row like this just yet. As the chains come hurling through the air, they make it to Tom's magical shield and simply pass through it like it isn't there in the first place. Alarm bells start going off in Tom's head as he jumps backward and transfigures the ground into a thick concrete wall between him and the chains. Once again, the chains make it to the wall and phase through like the wall isn't even there. By this time, Tom starts getting annoyed and kicks off the ground in a burst of power, dashing at lightning speed and appearing at the entrance of the double doors from earlier. Looking in the book's direction, Tom couldn't see it anymore due to the mountains of gold blocking his view, but he kept an eye out for any signs of chains coming his way. Not seeing any chains after about 10 minutes, Tom lets out a sigh of relief. That was close. Tom muttered as he heard the faint sound of chains rattling in the distance. Eha! A feminine scream rings throughout the vault. Not again. Tom thought, as this is the second time Druella's been attacked in a vault today. First the Slytherin vault and now the Lu Fei vault. Does she have some sort of bad luck today? Without wasting time, Tom disappeared, dashing in the direction of the scream. Appearing next to the podium again, Tom could see Druella sitting there with the black spellbook in her hand. The book seems to be attached to a thin silver chain that leads to her wrist, wrapping around it like a bracelet. You okay, Drew? Tom asks as he casts some fast-acting analysis spells. Huh? She grunts as she cranes her head upwards, spotting her fiancé. Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I found this book and it launched chains around me. Now it's connected to my wrist and I can't get rid of it. Has it done anything to you at all? Tom asks as he receives a bunch of information from the spells he cast. No, I don't think so. It's just attached to me. I tried reading the first page and it has some powerful looking magic in there. She says as she turns the book to show Tom, but the book snaps itself shut before he could see. The book doesn't seem to want anyone else seeing inside. Tom muttered as he processed the information from the spells. Am I its owner now? Druella thought out loud. Yes, congratulations, Drew. It seems that you're the new owner of Morgana Le Fay's personal spellbook. I don't see anything harming you, but we'll monitor the book for a while just to be sure. This marks the end of part 35 of the story, I'm Voldemort. Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe the video to listen more. Hit the bell icon to get notified of all the new content uploaded to the channel ASAP.